Hi everybody and welcome to the Mental Toughness and Body Show. My name's Rob Evans and I'm your weight loss coach, health strategist and internationally published author, helping take your life, your business, your body from where you are right now to where it is that you want to be and becoming unstoppable. And today I want to talk to you about the comparison game, because how often do you compare yourself to others and what does that mean to you? How often do you do that and you beat yourself up and say, I'm not as far ahead as I want to be, or you just get stuck in this unproductive cycle of thinking because somebody else is further and further ahead. And look, Facebook, Instagram, all of these things are ticking time bombs, because you can just scroll down and you can see, oh, what's this person doing? What's that person doing? And you can get really caught up in it. And I think it's a good thing that Instagram took away the number of likes and follows and all that kind of stuff, because it does create this sense of fakeness, I guess, and people doing more and more extreme things and not necessarily getting the right outcome for humankind. I particularly worry about Instagram and my girls. And if I pulled it up right now and scrolled through it, the volume of photos that I would see where it involves the sexualization of women, I think, gosh, when I was their age, some of my girls are 13 and 15 now, that we didn't have access to that kind of stuff, and it's just constantly changing, and just by picking up your phone, it could be right there. And I think, where is it going to end up? And I think I might have mentioned this either on this podcast or my Rob Evans 365 podcast just earlier in the week or last week, where I talked about how disturbing it is, the trend that Instagram's going, and people are getting just more and more extreme, more and more revealing, and just to get the likes. And I think about the term influencer, and people bandy that word around like it's nothing. And somebody who's an influencer? Is it somebody that has more than 10,000 followers? Is it somebody that has more than 100,000, a million? Is it multiple million? I don't know what the number is. It's probably greater than a million, and start to say that you're an influencer. And I had a look at somebody the other day, and this is a performing artist, and it's a female, and she has 75 million followers. And I find that astounding. And yeah, look, you might like her music and you follow her as a result of that. And I had a look at one of the Instagram lives that she did the other day. And again, I don't know whether I mentioned this or not, but the language that was used was appalling. Like, it was really disgusting. And the topic that she was talking about, I'm not even going to mention it here because I like to keep things professional. And just the language, imagine the lowest of low talk, the most profane language. The topic was completely inappropriate, and the way that she outlined it was disgraceful. And this particular video had, it was like 27,000 views or something like that. And it had, actually, maybe you can't see that. Maybe I'm getting mixed up with something else. But it had like 6,000 to 7,000 comments at the time. And I thought, okay, so what are people actually saying about this video? Because I thought it was disgraceful and just made her seem really cheap and, a bit trampy. So I had a look at some of the comments and I was just blown away. So many of them just supportive, agreeing, laughing, saying, you go girl, all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, what? Who is taking the time to comment to start with? And who's commenting like that? There wasn't one, and I just scrolled through just quickly. There wasn't one that I came across that said, tidy up your act, be a better role model and that kind of stuff. There was none of that. I thought, wow, have we got to that stage where we're living in a world where we want to have this high shock value of horrible morals, unprofessional, dirty type conversations that have an impact on our children and as adults in a society? I mean, is that what we've got to? So then I thought, so if I compared myself to her and I said, okay, well, I think I have 14,000 people that follow me. And a lot of those are just, it's just junk. So a follower doesn't really mean anything. She's got 75 million. So if I compared myself to her, I'd say, wow, she is really something else compared to me. And with 75 million, is she going to get people coming to her, offering to pay if she promotes a product and all that kind of stuff? Of course she is. And I'm sure she makes millions by doing that. And if it was all about money, you would say, well, gosh, that's pretty impressive. But I think you've got to have some integrity. And if you want to be an influencer, I think I'm an influencer. But I don't base it on 75 million or 10 million or 1 million. I base it on the impact that I'm having on people. So I think the first thing that you should start doing is, sure, check out your competition and see what they're doing and so forth, but don't compare yourself unnecessarily to people and think, wow, why am I not there? Because that can be demoralizing. Like if I think of 75 million views and wow, how would I ever get to that? Oh, well, gosh, if I follow her strategy, it's completely not me. It's not being true to me. It's not, and yes, I'm not an artist, as in like a singing artist and stuff, but do I need to stoop to that sort of level to get the number of views? And I would say if I did, I don't care about the number of views because I've got a certain standard that I want to live my life by, and I want to influence people in a more empowering and uplifting way as opposed to something that tears people down and doesn't set good moral fibre standards for our children and our teenagers and our colleagues. So I think there's a danger in comparing. And I'll tell you what happens when I do it sometimes, and I'll go through it, and it's very quick to beat yourself up and say, oh man, this person is there, they've got this app, they've got XYZ deal, they've been on Oprah, they've done all these things and I haven't done that. Why have they been able to do that and I haven't? Now I think if you dwell on that for too long, you'll beat yourself to an oblivion and you can immobilize yourself with that. I think use that as energy, but don't dwell on it too long. So, okay, well, if those things are important to you, then put in place a strategy to get there. But don't just beat yourself up for the sake of beating yourself up. If that's not important to you, then don't worry about it, let it pass. Some people, you don't know what people's paths are. You don't know how they've gotten from where they are to where they were to where they are right now. And just because it might sound impressive, doesn't mean that it's something that you need to do. But if it is, use it as energy to say, well, if they've done that, I want to get here. I think it's a danger game to play, especially when you're looking at numbers and, when it comes to influencers and followers and that kind of stuff. So I said that would be my first point. And rather than focusing on getting being an influencer by virtue of numbers, be an influencer by way of the content that you're delivering, the impact that you're having. So empower growth in people. I think that's the winning ticket. If you can empower change and growth in people, then you will have people that follow you and you will be able to influence people with meaning and passion in what it is that you do, whatever it is that your particular field is. If you want to empower change and empower growth in people, then that's where you should be focusing your energy. And that's what I love to do. Am I the most famous in my field? No, I'm not. Do I want to do better than I am? Absolutely. That's why I'm talking to you right now. It's why I keep on delivering content. It's why I keep working with people, keep building connections. But the fact that I'm not going to be, say, that number one person in this space, that doesn't mean the end of the world to me, because I know that the impact that I'm having on my neighbour across the road, on my neighbour next door, on my clients that are like 3,000 kilometres away, some that are on the other side of the world, the fact that I'm having an impact on them that has a meaning in their life, that is what's important to me. And is that if I don't have 1 million followers or 1 million clients and the world's best app, does that matter? Well, no, because I know the impact that I'm having on people and the way that I'm doing it. So I think it's really important to not lose focus on, what's driving you, because comparing can be really, really dangerous and it can immobilize you. So the next point I would say is make sure that you stay focused on your mission. Okay, so I said before about when you compare someone to someone else, then you really can end up in an ugly place. So let's talk about, where's a good example? Okay, let's talk about Conor McGregor. So Conor McGregor, if you listen to his early stuff, like his early recordings before he had all the tats and everything, he talked about wanting to, like he'd won a couple of fights and he's talking about he's going to be number one. His main driver was money. That's his reason for fighting, was money. And so what happened, he got to the point where he won, I think, 2 titles, was holding 2 MMA titles at the UFC titles at the same time. And then he had his big break where it was to fight Floyd Mayweather. And yeah, he probably knew going into that he wasn't going to win because it was just boxing. If it was the other way around, then probably no. But because Floyd Mayweather is a boxer from a child, then your money's always going to be on him versus somebody that might have good boxing skills, but he's practicing more rounded skills. And as soon as he lost that fight, I don't remember how much he got. It was like 30 million or maybe even more than that, plus a share of the takings. And now he's got all these sponsorship deals and everything. But he's pretty much retired now because it was about the money. Now, take Floyd Mayweather, and I think he's retired at the moment. Whether he comes back, who knows? But he fought and fought and fought for many, many years because he loved the sport of boxing. So there's a difference. And that's not to say that Conor McGregor didn't love the sport, but his main driver was money. Now, let's now take a step back from that and say, okay, well, you wanted to be an MMA fighter and you want to follow Conor McGregor's footsteps. Well, you're only going to follow him so far because his driver was money. Yours might be you love the fitness and the training and all that part of it and the discipline. And you just love fighting. And whether you win or lose doesn't matter. You just want to fight. You just enjoy that hustle and that camaraderie and everything that comes by virtue of the training that's required for that. And so that's going to be your pathway. So you've got to work out what your mission is and follow that like it's a burning passion. Because when you do, you'll realise that, actually, my pathway is different to someone else. And that's fantastic. Because if we all had the same pathway, there'd be one road in the world, in each country, that everybody jumped on, and we'd all be heading in the same direction all the time, living in the exact same type of house, wearing the same clothes, same hairstyles, wanting to date the same person, watching the same TV shows, all of that kind of stuff. But we're not. We're different. We're programmed to be different, and our brains are different, and our passions are different. And that's why, if you keep following yours, you'll find that this comparing to others becomes less meaningful for you. It doesn't drive you to be immobilized. And I know that sounds weird, but you can beat yourself up so much that you think, well, why am I not like this person? Why am I not like Oprah? Why am I not on that stage? Why am I not where she is? Well, there's only one Oprah, okay? Only one person is going to do it the way that she did it. Probably the next one behind her would be someone like Ellen. Now, Ellen, does she do it in the same way as Oprah? No, she doesn't. She does it completely different. And she's got a lot of negative press about how she's been treating staff and all that kind of stuff. So everybody's path is different. And then you've got Dr. Phil. Now, Oprah really helped Dr. Phil get his start, and then he's filled over 1,000 shows and doing amazingly well. He's doing obviously super well, but he's finding his own pathway to deliver his message in his way. Yeah, you could say, oh, it's all on TV, but they're doing it in their way. And what's passionate about them? And do you think each one of them cares that, Alan cares about Oprah, how many viewers that she's had? Dr. Phil, he cares about how many viewers that Oprah has, etc. Probably not, because they're successful in their own right and they're doing it their way. I think the next point is to make sure that you keep on adding value, because this is where a lot of people stop, and whether it is about the money, they get to that point where they just stop. So like take Conor McGregor, for instance. You say, well, has he now stopped adding value? Because he used to provide a lot of entertainment for people in terms of them watching and being motivated to train and get out and do his sorts of things. I see on YouTube every now and then there's an old fight or something with him in it. But to be honest, I think one of the things he's working on is some different videos about him, etc. I think he's doing some TV stuff, but I don't follow him, so I don't know a lot about what it is that he's doing. But he's going to move in a different way. But is that adding as much value now as he could have before? And perhaps not. And why is that? Well, because his main driver is about money, and so maybe that's dropping away because he's not adding the value anymore. And when it comes to your own business, you've got to think about, well, where can you add that extra value? And this is where it is a good idea to have a look at what all your competitors are doing and say, well, yeah, actually I like that. They do that really well. How do I take that and make it better in my business? Don't just take it and make it better in your business so that people can see and feel the value that you're adding, which really goes into the next point, which is about your connection with your clients and your prospects. And I say connect caringly with your customers and prospects, leads, all that kind of stuff. Connect with them in a caring way, because when you do that, they'll feel that you really care. And if I use an example of what I've been doing over the last couple of days, I'm just going to have a quick sip of water. I'm getting a bit dry. So we're living in probably the worst lockdown the harshest lockdown restrictions of anywhere in the world right now, and for the longest. They put out some stuff today. We've been locked down for the longest out of any country in the world, or any area in the world. It's not our whole country. And one of my missions over this lockdown has been to make sure that I can really connect with people. Now, why am I doing that? Well, I'm seeing less people now than I was before, because there's less people that I can see face to face. There's a group of people that only want to see me face to face and not do via Stripe or anything like that. So I have to make sure that, I don't have to make sure that I do it. My idea was come up with a strategy that could still connect with these people that aren't coming in, so that it's twofold. I guess that the outcome is that they want to stay as clients beyond the lockdown, but it comes from a good place, and that is I genuinely care about people, and particularly my clients. I want to make sure that they're looked after, and because I know just about all of my clients so intimately well, maybe intimate's not the right word, I don't mean it in a physical way, but I mean because I see my clients so often and I get to have so many different conversations with them, and because of the questions that I ask and how long people have been coming to me. I've known people for 5, 6, 7 years. Then I want to make sure that they're okay. And so that means checking in with people from time to time, those ones that I see, those that I don't see, so that I can just connect with them and say, look, do you need anything? Because I'm here for you, and even though you're not seeing me right now, I want to make sure that you're doing the right things to nurture yourself, making sure that you're getting out for your hour a day and getting into nature and some sunlight and sunshine on your face, and just enjoying the movement of walking, making sure that you're doing some strength training, and even if it's only 10 minutes, then do that, and making sure that you've got your drink bottle on your desk and you're drinking 2 to 3 litres of water a day, and that you're nourishing yourself with the right type of food so that you don't just sit there eating high processed food that's not really going to serve you well. And so you don't come out fatter, but you come out fitter and better as a result of the COVID lockdown. And just giving people programs if they need them, directing them to our website where there's some examples of some live workouts that we have recorded and put up there in our private page so that they can do them at any time that they like, and just giving them some guidance there. Now, I do that because I care and I want to make a difference. And even though I haven't seen some people for months because of their situation and us not being able to connect, the number of messages that I'm getting back from people is that they're just so appreciative of me reaching out and genuinely caring about them, because it's not until people get back to you that you realise just how tough some people are doing it right now. And I know those people that will be doing it tough because I know them well. And so when I can personalise a message to them, it makes it so much deeper and connecting for them. So I think that's been a really great experience for me, just to connect with them on a level at a hard time, to let them know that, you know what, outside of your household, there are people here that have your back. There are people here that care about you, and you're just letting people know that. I think it's really, really important. So that's the last point that I would say on that. You can really make a difference, and whether you have 75 million or just 14,000 followers like I do, or whether you have 100 or 200 or less, the point is that you can, and I'm sure you are, if you're listening to this, then you will be having an influence on people. And sometimes that influence is much greater than you realise. But I think if you focus on these things and use that comparison for a competitive advantage and not to immobilise you and get disgruntled, let's face it, there's one Jeff Bezos, right? He does it his way. He's the richest man in the world. If you want to be the richest person in the world, then fantastic. Follow your passion until you get there. Getting the right coaches around you and doing all the right things, and follow his success strategy if you want to. But there won't be another Jeff Bezos. There's only one. Look at Bill Gates, who was the richest man in the world for a period of time. Warren Buffett, who was the richest man in the world for a period of time. They've done it their own way. And you can learn things from all these very successful people. I think so. Use it as energy to take you from where you are to get further ahead, but be careful on just mindlessly doing crazy things to get more likes, because I imagine that most of the followers of these big stars don't buy any products from them. They just follow them. And so I think stopping that comparison can be a good thing for you. Keep empowering people to grow. Focus on your mission, and remember that your pathway will be different. Keep adding value to your client base, your prospects, and do it by connecting caringly with people. Really powerful stuff. Have a great day wherever you are in the world. Stay safe, stay clean, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.